Legends of Runeterra. Okay, here's the rules for this game idea. All characters will have full burst and some will have transformation. That's easy, that's good. And if you know other crossover games that have the warrior trademark, you would know that this fits in. So, okay. Then characters will be in the classification. They usually are in some of the crossover games. But here's the classification. ADC, Mage, Tank, Assassins, Brawlers, and Support. Size does not matter, but the characters can't be like full Godzilla size versus freaking King Kong. They can't be that way. No character like that. Each member of a region will be respected in this game. So like each region will be respected in map and character. So yeah, 50 characters. Size will be 50 characters. Because I didn't want to leave out too many characters. There's over 140 champions in this game, so I didn't want to leave out a whole lot of them. Also, for character skins, they can just make them the ones in game because the ones in game would be easy to prepare, but they did make some for this game personally, they would kind of like change it out a little bit. First, the characters that would be in the game: Jinx, Vi, Vector, Caitlyn, Jace, Heimerdinger, and Echo. These are the easiest picks. They came from Arcane show, and even became one of the largest on Netflix. And it lasted for about 8 episodes, but those 8 episodes were a dream. Okay, so a lot of people want these top picks in the game. Okay,
No one will stand in my way.
Aries, the Nine-Tails Fox, for our first champion, new champion. Ari is a mage, meaning that she uses a whole lot of different spells to cast attack. For her passive, she will use her Ring of Fire ability, deflecting her, defending her from enemies, and she can shoot fire at enemies, and it would even heal her for a little bit of HP. Some of her moves would be Firefox, Orb of Despair, and Charm. And for ultimate, it would be Spear Rush, attacking all enemies around her, and then ending with a Fire Slam. Arsene, the Marksman. He has he is a highly skilled he is highly skilled in the art of stealth combat, able to evade the eyes of enemies and reappear when they least expect him. He's from Shurima, so he'll be the inspector for Shurima, and he'll probably doing Jinx's team because of his shady, his will to like rob and thieving stuff. He's a high skill in stealth, but he is high skill in playing dirty, and his passive would be dirty fighting. When he gets 3 hits in on the enemy, he'll get a personal buff in strength. He can also use Avengerang to use against enemies around him. And for his ultimate, it'd be come up, releasing a big beam of energy. Annie the Dark Child. Annie is kind of a mascot in this. She's not really a mascot, but she is kind of like one of those some iconic characters. Annie uses fire or pyrokinesis in that manner. She can light up her enemies in flames and also use Teddy for her strong attacks. Against enemies for Annie, for for Annie, I mean, would, would she would use her passive to stun in a big flame. For her ultimate, she would summon Teddy, then she'll ride him and unleash a barrage of claw slashes and just slam down, ending with a roar pushing back enemies. I'm only gonna do 10 champions. I'm only gonna do 10. So
Okay,
I
sorry
did.
for this,
I'm not.
but I have
I
something to
can't
say.
do all 50.
First of
So Apollos, the weapon of faith, the faithful. Apollo serves as a marksman in the game. He uses different weapons, so why don't we just make it like that? He uses different weapons and it's different combos. Each weapon would be tied into a combo, even using each weapon's abilities, and for his ult would be Moonlight Blade. Sorry. Okay. But it would be bigger and it would be great for crowd control. And for our new champion, Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank takes the role of a tank. He's the giant steam golem. So let's make him a grappler of the game. He will be able to grab enemies and swing them around into other enemies and shock them, which would basically make kind of like a Frankie in One Piece Pirate Warriors, kind of like that. With his fist, he would, for his strong attack, he would just have a power fist. He would just like punch the enemies up into the air. That'll just be his strong attack. And for his ultra, it would be static field. But he would slam his fist into the ground and charge up, then release a giant electric explosion. Braum. Braum is a support character, but he protects people like a tank. So just make him a tank in this game, or support, whichever one you prefer. So he would use his shield to knock back enemies and would be a perfect guy for crack control. I put perfume. Why is perfume perfect for crowd? His passive would be conservative blast blows, where Braum would hit enemies, then it would show a sign above them, and if he hit them 4 times before they died, this would count strong enemies because I don't think the weaker enemies would need this kind of thing. Then it would freeze them in place for some time. And for his ultra, it would be Glacier for sure. He would slam the ground with his shield, and a line of ice would strike up from the ground in front of him, damaging all enemies in front of him. So he would be great for those kinds of events. Braum, since he is protective heart, he would join Vi's team. I'm not kind of just basing off the teams. I'm just saying he would probably join Vi's team because Jinx is kind of crazy. So yeah. Choke off. Choke off. The Terror of the Void. We need villains in the roster, and Cho'Gath, he's he's a sort of villain. He's sort of villain, but there is no real lore to him. So I may have to change it to where. So maybe I may change it to where he's not actually in the roster because there's no real lore to him, his physical form. It's just him in game. So if they do add him in the game, in this game, inside of the game, they would have to explain a lot about his lore. So Cho'Gath will use his claws to attack enemies and heal whenever he kills enemies, so strong enemies. If Cho'Gath did the smaller enemies and killed them, he would gain so much health. So to make it not broken, he would have to defeat strong enemies in order to get some health. For a strong attack, he would do Rapusher, and for his ultra, it'll be Feast, where he would do many bites to an enemy and then do a big giant bug bite. And if he killed the enemy, he would grow, and his attacks would be more. His attack would do more damage, and if you win the full burst, he will also grow in size. So yeah, I may have to change it to where he's gonna be replaced with a different character because in the lore he doesn't really have a actual lore that describes him in physical form. So I may have to replace him. So Darius, the Hand of Noxus. We need a character who just that warrior. Darius is like cold blooded, so he'll probably join Jinx or Vi, depending on either which one you prefer. Darius is a fighter, meaning he gets up close. He gets up in the enemy's face with his giant battle axe and just starts swinging. He's like the Terminator of this whole thing. If he attacks a strong enemy, they would bleed, taking health. He could also stack this to get little health. But he can also stack this to where if they would take a whole lot of they would take more health. Okay, there's and no, actually, I was sick. Okay, he can also stack this bleeding to where Darius will become enraged and actually do more damage, getting a massive damage boost. For his ult, it'll be Galantun. He would jump into the air, spinning his battle axe, and then grab it and then slam it down to the ground, blowing away all the enemies. Dinah. Diana. Score the moon. Diana is a fighter and also the queen of the moon. With her crescent moon blade. Sorry, I just had to talk, so I'm not feeling so well. Okay. So with her, she'd be a quick fighter. She'd be like one of those fighters that gets up into the face and then comes back. For her passive moon silver blade, after doing 3 attacks to a strong enemy, she would, and this doesn't count in this doesn't, yeah, maybe. Okay. She would gain a magic damage boost, and if she cast a spell, she would gain attack. Meaning, if she did a strong attack, she would gain attack speed. For her ultra, it would be Moonfall, where she would suck up all the enemies, then she would pull down a giant moon, crushing the enemies. Think of Majora's Mask, how he didn't Legend of Zelda to get his attack, but it would be the moon would have a face on it. So yeah, except for a giant face, that would be all that clears him. Ariel, the playboy of the marksman, he's like the Legend of Zelda ripoff. Okay, so with his magic crossbow, of his, he would get the job done. For his passive, it'd be Rising Spell Force, to where he could actually stack 5 magic spells on an enemy. So it's like if he did 5 strong attacks on the enemy, he could stack them and then gain move speed on them. For his ultra, it'll be True Shot Barrage, where he would fire a lot of mini arrows, pull the enemy, put the enemy in the air, then he would charge up and release a giant, giant arrow, launching all the enemies away. Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks, the ancient terror. Fiddlesticks is the first demon. He takes on the form of a scarecrow, killing anyone in his way. So make him kind of like he's not like Pike. He's not like Pike. Make him like the first boss you encounter or the first thing you encounter in the first kind of big boss you encounter. He would be like that. His passive would be Harmless Scarecrow, where it would summon a Shadow Fiddlesticks that would attack nearby enemies. With For his strong attack, it'd be Terfine that would cause an effect called Fear that would scare enemies away. So like the enemies wouldn't come close to him. And for his ultra, it'd be Crow Storm, where crows would gather up nearby enemies, then Fiddlesticks would roar, changing forms and launch back enemies. If he did a full burst, it would also change his form becoming more faster and then doing changing combos with it. He'll actually changing combos with his third hand that it grows in this other form. Feel why. Flora, the Grand Duelist. Flora is a champion who attacks enemies from all sides. So make her a fighter, make her a brawler of some kind. For her passive, it'd be Duelist Dance. If she lands a hit on a strong enemy, a sign would appear below them, not above them. Below, I mean, below them, and if it points down, she would have to attack them in the front. If it if it points sides, she would attack them from the sides. If it pointed up, you get the drill. For her ultra, it'd be grand challenge, but it would be different. It'd be totally different from think of like the Legend of Runeterra, where she would just like, or think of Hagapu Ultimate, where he would then disappear doing mini slashes around and then damaging all enemies around. She would lunge at the enemies, then you would see slashes around the area, then she would end with a giant slash down, launching all enemies around. That rhymes. Okay. Fizz, the Tide Trickster, is I put is Fizz is a yodel. Fizz is a yodel. Fizz is a yodel. Basically is small, but an assassin. He fights like a trickster, dodging enemies with his passive nimble fighter, where take a he would take a flat amount of reduced damage from all sources. Also, he can make the enemies bleed with his Stone Trident, which would basically be his strong attack. It basically be a strong attack where it make enemy bleed. And if you fill up the sign above him, above them, strong enemies, it would make his next attack do more damage. His ultra chum, his ultimate would be chum the waters. Chum the water. It would dive down into the water, sucking up all enemies. Then a giant shark would emerge from the ground, knocking away enemies. The shark could also be used as some combos if you really want to do it like that, but it's fine to just make it the ultimate for me. And last but not least, the character we're going to be showing is. Oh, hi guys, hold on. Is Darius, the Might of Demacia. We need another big boy, and I, I said Darius, I mean Garen. Garen can fit that. We need another big boy, and Garen can fit that. He's a fighter who fights with a giant sword for his passive. It would be precision to where if he did not get attacked, if you hold to where if he did not get struck by damage, he would gain some health back. And for his strong attack, it'll be diverse strike, where if you hold the button down, he would charge up his sword, then he would slam his sword into the ground, dealing damage. And for his ultra, it'd be Damascene Might Justice. He would slam the sword into the ground, then a giant magic sword would slam down, knocking enemies back. And that is it. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.